Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum students. Welcome to English grade 6 video lessons. I hope that you're doing well. I'm your English teacher Zia. Students, today we are going to cover another SLO from our unit number 5 and we are going to talk about oral communication. Our SLO is specifically on your oral communication skills and we will be talking about specifically role playing. Now, let's read our students' learning outcome and see how we can achieve it. Students, in this lesson, you have to give your feedback to the teacher. You have to be very much attentive because this is all about your practice of speaking and doing a very good conversation. So for that purpose, we are going to take up some techniques and some strategies like role playing. Let's read our students' learning outcome. It demands us to participate in solo, paired and group assignments, including role plays, show insight into texts and issues through choice of speech, gestures, movement within role play. So, we can do this activity by our own. Solo means single, in pairs and also in groups. And this will specifically include role play. We will see what is role play and how you can perform it in order to increase your oral communication. Yes, students, you have to speak up. You have to learn this conversation skills in order to be good speakers. We will also talk about how you should choose your words and speech carefully according to the scenario and situation, and also use movements, gestures, your body, and use your face, hands, and other parts of the body to convey your message. So these are also included in the role play. Let's read it. Now, before that, you can see this vertical linkage. This is for additional information. And moving on to our brainstorming session, where you need to think about it. Did you ever ask help from someone? I'm talking about when you were in a situation where you needed some help. How did you communicate? How did you convey your problem? And how did you ask for help? Think about it, students, and come up with your answers, or you can also act it out to show to the whole class. Now, next, let's talk about what is role play, how it is very much important for you as a student, as a English language learner, so that you can do it better. Now, a role play, students, is simply an activity where learners or students take on different roles. They play different characters and that either mimic real life or imaginary experiences, which means it can be based on your real observations of real life, or you can also make up a scenario or make up a character to act out in front of the whole class. That could be also imaginary experiences. For example, students acting like a teacher. Now, this is a real life character that you see daily and observe. You can play a doctor, a shopkeeper, and so on. Now, the students, they try to act as real life people, or they act out real life situations. By doing this role play activities, you can better your communication skills. You can prepare yourself for such daily life and real life problems so that you can be good speakers and convey your message. This is exactly how we learned our first language. That could be Urdu or any other language. Now, English is our second language, so we can practice it as we practice our first language, so that you can learn it like your first language. So students, be very much prepared be ready, do not be hesitant to perform the activities, perform the roles, and act out different characters in front of the whole class. Now, let's talk about movements. Movement is related to our body, the way we move when we are communicating with somebody, and when we are acting out a play, or we are playing a role or acting out any scene, we need to use our body to also communicate. Yes, your verbal and this non-verbal communication, they are put together to be in one, and then you can act out different characters and play a very good role. So let's see. Movement in role play means using your body to help you act out a part. So you're using your body, your hands, your face, your gestures, and this includes things like your gestures, your facial expressions of the face, and how you stand or walk when you are actually acting out a role. So you don't want to be standing in one place and deliver the dialogue or act out the scene. Rather, you have to move. You have to move your body, and you have to take help from your movements to be a very good and to act like a real life person in a natural way. So this is all about movement. You should take care of it when you are playing either a doctor, when you're playing and acting out a teacher in a scenario. So you have to move, you have to open yourself and act it out. Next, let's talk about gestures. A gesture, when you are acting out a role or playing a character, this is a movement of the body, typically or importantly your hands, arms, or your head, that expresses an idea or feeling. So you can use your hands, and you can use your facial expressions, your arms, your shoulders for all these kind of expressions. You can nod your head, you can say no, and take help from all these different parts of your body. This will help you in acting out your role, and you will be considered a very good speaker. Now, here we have different scenarios. Scenarios means situations. There can be different situations that you can choose and act out accordingly. Students, number one is a job interview, where either you are taking an interview, you are the interviewer, or either you are the interviewee, because this is a very important part in your professional life. So job interviews, and then customer service interactions, or you can be a customer or a seller. You can do negotiation, conflict resolution, or problem resolution, and then you can also act out as a public speaker in front of your friends or your class. So these are the different situations. There can be more scenarios, like when you are in a room with family, or when you are talking to your friend at a party, at a function. So there are so many different scenarios, dear students. You can either choose one of them, you can suggest your scenario, and then take permission from your teacher and act it out. So these scenarios, these situations are there are a lot of them, and you can use them. Now, what is your choice of speech? Obviously, students, when we are acting out like a teacher, when we are role playing, we need to speak and choose words like that real life or imaginary character. Let's see. The choice of speech refers to the words you select to express your thoughts and your ideas, and that includes your vocabulary, your words, your style, and tone. you use when speaking. Now, tone can be polite, tone can be aggressive, it can be representing good confidence or low confidence of a character. So all these things, your style, choice of words, your style of saying that dialogue, and your tone, the voice up and down, all these kind of things are included in your choice of speech. So you should be careful about it according to the role that you're playing out. Next, here, this is a Chinese quote by Confucius. Let's see what he has to say. This is very important and I want you to remember it because this talks about practice. He says, I hear and I forget. I see and I remember. I do and I understand. So he's saying that when you want to understand something completely, you do it by yourself and you have to be very much active and ready to do all those things so that you can understand it better. So in language, since we are learning English, you have to speak more than you listen. So if you're listening to any to English speakers or English being spoken, this is not full job. Your full job will be when you are yourself speaking out. So this was a very good and motivational quote. Remember it, students. This is very important to do and then learn. Now, here we have in your classroom activity, I hope that you're present in your class with your teacher. So be ready for this and gather up yourself because we are going to do a role play scenario in your classroom activity. Now, here we have a scene. Let's read it out. Then you can take up your character and act it out in front of the whole class. So the scene starts from here. Student 1, student 2, these are our characters and also the cafeteria worker. So there are 3 roles, 3 characters. Student number 1 says, oh, this food looks terrible. I'm not eating this. Student 2 says, come on, try it. You might like it. I think the salad looks good. Student 1 says, salad? No way. It's probably bland. Then the cafeteria worker says, smiling. Now this is where this character will show his facial expressions. Our salad is actually quite popular. Why don't you try it? We also have fruit salad, Caesar salad and yogurt if you prefer something lighter. Then the first character says, fine, I'll try one, but don't expect me to like it. Then the second character says, see, I told you it would be good. After a few minutes, student 1 says, hey, this salad isn't half bad. He means to say that it is good. Then the student 2 says, I told you. And the cafeteria worker's character or role says, I'm glad you like it. Would you like to try something else next time? And student 1 says, maybe. I like it. And here the scene ends. So there are 3 characters. Make a group of 3 and then choose your role and act it out. You have to take care of the pronunciation, speak with full power and determination so that you can do it successfully. Now, here students, after this classroom activity, I hope that you have done it, you have enjoyed it a lot. Now, you can watch these 2 simulation videos. Later on, the links are shared. You can watch them and learn and observe the role plays. This is an interview and this is also a scenario. So there are 2 different scenarios that you can act. Watch the full videos, then take up the roles and perform it. Now, here is your worksheet. Again, you have to read it out, read the prompts and instructions, and then act out the role play. Now, students, for your homework, this is attached in your book. You can find it with the main lesson. You have to work in groups, make the conversation between small plant and arrogant tree, children and arrogant tree, and the seeds. Work on your tone, expressions, and dialogue delivery. Use proper conversational intonation, the ups and downs of the voice, and rather than reading in a flat voice. So you have to be excited. You have to show the up and down of your voice and make some variations in your speech. You can take up different roles and then act it out in your group. Now, here we have our resources, this PowerPoint presentation, students, a lesson plan, and your worksheet. These are attached in the description of the video. I hope that you have understood our students' learning outcome, which was about doing these assignments, specifically the role plays, either in solo, paired, or groups. I've laid out different kind of activities and stories, activities and different scenarios for you to practice. So all you need to do is now to practice it, and with your skill sheets there are 2 tasks attached. You have to do that, practice it, and then record it. After recording the 1 or 2 minute video, present it in your class, show it to your teacher, and that's all for today. I'll see you in the next video lesson with another SLO. See you. Take care of yourselves. Allah Hafiz.